All right, Showboat Sports guys, we are on. We are back. And yes, we are on here early. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. And make sure you guys hit the notification bell icon so you guys know when we are going to drop this thing. You know what I mean? So here we go. So we're going to let the algorithms pick in. So let the people come on in tonight. Like I said, we're gonna let the rest of the people let it go on out. And on that, been out for a couple of days. Was doing the birthday thing, and then things just got kind of tied up, went haywire, and all that other stuff. That's all right. We are back on, and we are gonna be cooking. It's cool, which is cool. So, Gerald Slade, salute, fam. Glad you are on here, man. Glad you are on here. Yeah, man. So we're gonna have a nice little show tonight. We're gonna talk. We're gonna kick it like we normally do. And like I said, we're gonna let some of the algorithms kick in. And I know everybody's like, "Hey, man, we wasn't expecting this guys on about an hour early," which is just what it is. It's what it is. So we had some time. So I thought I'd come on in here. You know what I mean? Was wanting to hurry up and get on back to get to you guys. Like I said, I've been off for over the weekend, and so now we on here letting this thing roll out. T-word, yeah, salute, fam. Yeah, man, we are on here a little early tonight, man, and so I figure, I've had people hitting me up like, man, can you come on just sometime a little bit earlier and stuff, and plus it was one of them nights I was like, hey, I got a little bit more time. We're gonna go ahead and slice it on up, cook it up, dice it. You know how we do. Get down. Man, how was y'all's weekend, man? Y'all have a pretty good weekend, man? My weekend was actually pretty good. Birthday weekend. My birthday was yesterday on the 16th, but I celebrated throughout the weekend and stuff, kids and stuff. Son was in from college, and my kids' schedules and stuff, and all that stuff. It was crazy. So, like I said, we got it all together. Now I'm back in this thing, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. Ain't too much been going on in this boxing thing, has it? But it's a good thing, you guys. We all know Devin and Loma is going to be happening April. I think they said April the 19th is what they're saying. No injuries, all health, good weekend. Happy birthday, cuzzo. Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you, man. And so, like I said, Devin and Loma are actually a done deal. You guys know that. And now they're saying that Ryan and Tank is a done deal too, is what they're saying. Just about done deal. They're supposed to be signing off on that. I tell you what, man, when I started seeing Oscar talk about how he didn't think that he didn't have a contract. He was waiting on the contract to come over. I've been going back and forth with some other people. They want to argue about all this other stuff. I actually thought Oscar was trying to back out, me personally. So I think Oscar was trying to back out of this thing. So I've been going ham over that. I like Ryan, but I'm not with all that ducking stuff no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just done got old. It's kind of done played out. You know what I mean? And this whole Terrence Crawford and all this other stuff, that's done played out too. I'm over that, going back and forth about that. But it's good that we have Espinosa talking now. You know what I mean? Espinosa's talking, and he's saying, what's going on, and he doesn't want to throw Crawford under the bus, and I understand it because he definitely wants to do work with Crawford. But what he was saying, I was watching this stuff. Hold on, let me turn this down just a little bit, so this way make sure you guys, because either just loud in my feed or just whatever else. But we're just gonna get a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. All right, let's go. So Stephen Espinosa was sitting there saying they was asking him a bunch of questions about it, and basically what he was saying, what it breaks down to, is Stephen Espinosa was saying that Crawford, they gave him what he wanted. You know what I mean? They said they weren't going to do guaranteed money like that. They wasn't going to put that out there. And they also said as far as being transparent, they'd definitely be transparent because they had to be transparent. He said, they do the auditing and all that other stuff, and he wanted to let Crawford know that you can see all that stuff. That's the stuff that we had to put out there anyway. But they said, well, the problem came in at is that Crawford wanted to be the one to sign off on it. He wanted to be the one to give final approval. He's like, no, we can't let that happen. He said the reason why we can't let that happen is common sense. It's common sense. If you got somebody that's over your money and somebody that's over everything, what's going to happen? They're going to be a dick. How they're going to do. If they don't get everything they want, somebody else's money. So you can't give somebody that kind of power. So Crawford was never getting that power. And he also said about how Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, both of them agreed that they both signed off on the tickets, on about the ticket sales and stuff, right? He said that held up the fight. He said they held the fight all the way until the very end because they were arguing about the tickets. He said now the tickets were sold. They was really most of them was accounted for. He said, but that was where a problem came in at. You know what I mean? I told people that from the jump. He wants veto power. Yeah, he wants some power that shouldn't even be there, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's a major problem. And if you're trying to make a fight, that has nothing to do with that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I understand what Crawford is trying to do. See, what Crawford is trying to say is, he's trying to say, well, if you guys are paying for this, this, and this, it's going to cut into my money. See, Crawford is all worried about just his money, when he got to understand that everybody's got to get paid in this thing, right? And there is, and like Stephen Espinosa said, there are certain fees that we pay that's common. It's across the board. As long as it's still within those categories, it shouldn't be a problem. He said, but you can't tell me I can't do production or we can't keep advertising. We got to keep coming to sign off on you when we advertise, because Crawford will do that shit. Crawford doesn't understand the point of advertisement. He doesn't get that concept. So you can't give him that veto power. You know what I'm saying? You can't give him that power to go sit there and say, yes, you can advertise, or no, stop. You guys are advertising too much. He doesn't understand the money you put on the front end pays you a lot more on the back end. You have to advertise. Crawford doesn't get that concept that companies like Coca-Cola, Budweiser, and McDonald's, they pay millions of dollars to be in the Super Bowl when they don't even need it. If any company doesn't need to advertise, it would be McDonald's, Coca-Cola, or Budweiser, right? So why would they pay millions of dollars for a 30-second commercial just to be in the middle of the Super Bowl? Because advertisement is everything within business. And Crawford doesn't understand that. Your mouthpiece, everything you do is about advertisement in any business. And Crawford does not get that. And you can't make that dude understand that. You just can't make Crawford understand that. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to understand that. Crawford thinks, I'm going to go fight and I want my money. I want all my money. Crawford will take money out of the pot as long as he pay. He don't care if everything goes sour. So you can't let Crawford do that. You can't let him do it. So Stephen Espinosa wasn't trying to kick Crawford. And he also said he didn't want Crawford to, he didn't want to make it seem like it was bad blood, that they couldn't go back to the negotiation table. But he said, we do definitely need to go back to the negotiation table. And maybe, he said, you guys are laughing and joking, but maybe we all do need to get in a room for about 8 hours and just sit there and go over stuff and see what we're going to do and get down to some kind of agreement. But the thing that I want to know is, am I right or wrong? Did Crawford not say he signed and he agreed to everything? So where the hell are we at? Why are we still talking about that? Why are we talking about we still need to talk about this? He said, imagine how many people, T-Word said, imagine bought Tank fight after seeing the YouTube ad the day of the fight. Yeah, man, it's like this, man. It's like this. PBC understands it, right? They've been doing it for quite a long time. Crawford ain't been doing it. But T, like you just said, man, imagine that, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, they have been doing it, they have been moving in the right way. And nobody's gonna let you mess up the apple cart if you're acting like Crawford. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that I understand to me is, it's like these guys, but Stephen did say this. Stephen is trying to move in a way where he's trying to say stuff without saying stuff because he understands fighters are in their feelings. Y'all don't understand. A lot of fighters are in their emotions, man. They really are. Every fighter thinks he's the baddest son of a bitch on the planet. Every fighter thinks the world revolves around him and he deserves to get money. And I get it. You know what I mean? They got to have this confidence, but they have a false sense of who they are on some levels. You know what I mean? And you got to be a little delusional to believe that you can beat the world up, right? You got to believe at some point that you just one of the baddest and one of these people. You got to believe that just a little bit. But what happens is that carries over. That carries over into other streams of the business. And that's the problem with Crawford. You know, Crawford thinks, I'm the man. I'm the hottest thing out here. My name is going to sell, and it just doesn't. But they don't want, Stephen Espinosa don't want to piss Crawford off. He really doesn't. He don't want to come out and tell Crawford, you're a good fighter, but, you know, we're not paying you nothing. And you know, because he don't want Crawford to get his ego up, right? And that's what happened. Crawford get his ego up. So basically what Stephen Espinosa is really telling us is saying that hopefully we can all come to an understanding and an agreement, and these guys understand, what they're worth, and we can work this out. But the problem is, you'll never be able to work this damn thing out if you have guys who are delusional, and Crawford is delusional on there. He just feel like his name carries more weight than what it does, and it's making it bad for the fight. It just is. Crawford is making that whole thing bad for the fight. And at this point, the thing that I can't understand, and maybe one of you guys can help me understand it. Please, I'm all ears on this. How does Crawford say, I've agreed to everything, the only thing I don't agree to is us fighting in 2023? That's what Crawford has said on numerous occasions. Steven Espinosa even said, Crawford, everything was okay. The thing that Crawford wanted was he wanted to fight in 2022, and he could have fought in 2023. It wasn't going to wait till February. He could have fought January 2023. That's what Steven Espinosa said. So why is Steven Espinosa, why is Crawford, why is everybody saying that they could renegotiate? Why are we back to the renegotiations? Why is that? I don't get that whole thing, man. I don't understand how we get back to the negotiations of that. I just don't. I don't understand that. It's blowing my mind with that. It's like you got these millionaires, you got all these adults in there, and you guys can't freaking come to an agreement, and everybody want to act like kids and say it's everybody's fault, right? I do believe PBC. I do. I really do. But PBC is saying, well, they trying to take the high road, but they letting you know it's Crawford's fault. Then Crawford letting them know it's their fault. Then Steven Espinosa was like, PBC, they do a good job, but it seems like Crawford is the problem. When it really comes down to, Crawford is the damn problem. You know what I mean? And that's where it comes in from. When fighters start thinking that they need to get a line, they need a lines portion. They also need to have say-so. When someone comes in and says, I want to be able to approve everything, you have a problem. You have a problem. And then you got a major problem when you sit there and say that everybody say the fight was agreed upon. That's on both sides. Because Spence said, I signed off and sent it over Crawford for the contract come back. So Spence even said, in other words, so why are we still back to we need to negotiate? That's the shit I can't understand for the life of me, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand how both parties keep saying that shit after both parties said we agreed. Both parties said that. They both said they signed. Well, Crawford said he signed the term sheet. He agreed. Well, they called it the contract, and it wasn't the damn contract. It was the term sheet. So he signed the term sheet, sent it to Spence. Spence and them said they signed it, sent it to Crawford, and they hadn't heard from Crawford. Then Crawford admitted. Crawford came out and said, I have a fight coming on. That's the next time they heard from Crawford. And Steven Espinosa and them said that too, right? Now, they didn't know BLK Prime was in there. They didn't know that, and Crawford played them. I mean, that's basically what it comes up to. And they saying ain't no hard feelings, but we're not going to put ourselves back in a situation if either we're going to do this thing or we not. And Steven Espinosa like, well, look, we all probably need to get in a room for 8 hours. And if we can't make the deal after the 8 hours, just walk away from the fight and let the fight go. I actually agree with that, but I'm like, why does these grown men got to go sit in a room for 8 hours and bang this out like this is the hardest thing out there? Either they want to make the fight and they're going to be in to make the fight or not. You know what I'm saying? And Steven Espinosa and them just need to say honestly, and I'm not even upset with that. We will not give you the power to tell us about advertisement. We will not give you the power to say what we can do with the production side of things. You know what I mean? This is our standard budget, and maybe that's what they need to do. They might need to bring the standard budgets out from 3 different fights. Let Crawford see, this is what we pay out. This is the standard. This is the percentage of what we pay out. This is about how much marketing dollars we put into this type of fight. And you can see that. Now, the same money they put into Tank and the money they put into Deontay Wilder and the money that they put into Sean Porter and Keith Thurman and all these other guys and Mikey Garcia is not the exact same, but they do have a format. And once they show you the format, this is the format that we work with. This is what our fighters got across the board. You know what I'm saying? This is of what they can show of the contract, right? And then they can show that to Crawford, and Crawford can make his decision right then and there, and they can all put their foot down. And at the end of the day, then we can just part ways. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, Crawford, to me, he's using all this other stuff, and now it seems like he wants to fight, and now he's got his lips stuck out. And then you got people like you got Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley came out and said that Spence is trying to duck Crawford. He said Spence is moving up to 154, and he said Spence might not move back down, and he said that's just a flat out duck for Spence, because why would you leave 147 to go fight at 154? And who's at 154 besides your stablemate? You're not going to fight your stablemate. So why are you even up at 154? What's the point in going at 154 just to come back down to fight Crawford at 147? So that's what Tim Bradley's thing is, right? Does he have a point? Maybe, maybe not. Little bit not. You know what I'm saying? Well, one of the things is I don't understand about that, but it's not for me to get. And you know what's funny is Tim Bradley not one time, and none of those guys gotten on to Crawford and say, hey, you could have made this fight, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Steven Espinosa said too. Steven Espinosa said, the fight could have taken place, but the fight didn't take place. So then now you have them to where you got mandatories, you got other people that's stepping up to the plate, and that changes the whole ball game, which it really does. That changes the whole ball game out. See, what you did was you stood around too long and you thought, well, and you knew sanctioning bodies, you knew that. You knew all this stuff, but you was just being really selfish. And then now the point of you saying, well, okay, I need another payday. You're not going to get another big payday. You know what I'm saying? BLK Prime, I wouldn't think, but before I open up my silly mouth again, I'm not going to say, I don't think BLK Prime would turn right around and do the same shit that they did with Crawford the second time around. Because I think that they saw just how unfruitful it was to pay Crawford to come out and have that fight on pay-per-view. It didn't make a lot of money. They didn't even charge a lot, and you still didn't make a lot of money, right? So why would they go turn around and go do that again? So if BLK Prime decides to work with Terrence Crawford, that's the only shot he's got, because the zone's not working with Crawford. Top rank ain't going back. He's not going back to top rank. I wouldn't think. Like I said, I don't know every damn thing no more, because the things I thought I knew, I'm just being wrong about a lot of stuff that's just common sense that I just don't get. These guys are doing boxing in a totally different way in boxing that just doesn't make sense no more to me. You know what I mean? And it's not saying it's wrong. I just don't understand that side of it. Like I said, I just don't understand that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. But hopefully they'll get it right. But the only way you're going to get this thing right is to go ahead and start putting your foot down and start making a move. You know what I mean? And Crawford has got to do something. You know what I mean? He's got to do something. I mean, nobody, like I said, Tim Bradley, none of them guys are holding Crawford's feet to the fire, because they still saying, well, Crawford took that fight. Now, Spence, you should go take this fight. And now you want to go fight Keith at 154. Now, listen, Bradley does have a point of him wanting to fight Keith Thurman at 154, but then saying he might move back down, right? That's what they saying. We haven't heard this from Spence. We haven't heard this from PBC, but I'm just saying we're going to hypothetically go with that just for the sake of argument, right? Can't say Tim Bradley is right, because Tim Bradley has been known to lie. You know what I mean? He's just going off what he got from Mike Coppinger. He's going off what he heard from ESPN, the network he works for, right? But even if he knew the truth, he wouldn't tell the truth, because you remember Tim Bradley is the one that said it was Earl Spence. When Earl Spence was Tim Bradley's mandatory, Tim Bradley did not fight Earl Spence. He went ahead and retired. And when they checked him on it, he said, what have we been doing with that? Been doing business with that side of the street? Tim Bradley said that. He said that in a press conference. I mean, not in a press conference. He said that in an interview when they checked him on that. So after that, later on down the road, they said, well, it's a different side of the street. And they asked Tim Bradley about it. Tim Bradley's like, man, I don't want to hear none of that different side of the street. They can make the fight. Then they asked him about it. Well, you said that, and so Tim Bradley just be lying, man. He lies. And that's the problem when you work with these networks and you out here. You are messing up your name when you out here lying like that, because we don't know when to believe you and when not to believe you. Tim Bradley's been doing a lot of lying over the years. So why would you believe that? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to invest my thoughts and stuff in there in nothing into that, and Tim Bradley is just lying. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. So now when you come out with this, yeah, you might make a little bit of a point about Spence, but then you don't know what Spence is going to do. You know what I mean? None of us know what Spence is going to do. We keep hearing rumors, but let's say for argument's sake, he's right. So let's say Spence does move up to 154 and Spence says, hey, I will move down to 147. Either Crawford, either you take this or not, or I'm moving on. right? He's already up under the weight. Doesn't mean he had to be at 154 the night of the fight either. That's what Tim Bradley's not even saying. You know what I mean? And we've talked about that. Just because you set the weight limit at 154, that's the maximum you can be up. But you know, you're fighting Keith Thurman. You're not fighting a regular 154 pounder. You're fighting Keith Thurman. So basically, you making Keith Thurman put on weight, and it's all for it. I mean, you the champ. You do what the hell you want to do. Keith Thurman had his chance. Keith Thurman was a damn duck, and now Keith Thurman doesn't have a belt. He's on the outside looking in and begging for his way to get back in. And so what you do is you do send Keith Thurman down through there. You know what I'm saying? You do play them games with Keith Thurman. And I hate it from a boxing standpoint because I would like to have seen him fight at 147, but I would like to have seen him fight at 147 for a belt, which Keith Thurman did not do. He didn't do it. So I'm not mad at Earl Spence because if that's his tactic. He says, I want to move up to 154, then I'll come down and fight Crawford. I'm not mad at Spence for using that tactic. I would like to have seen it all take place at 154, just like I would like to have seen Spence and Crawford have fought before the David Avenesian fight. But we don't get what we want all the time. But you don't have the right, Tim Bradley don't have the right to just keep picking and choosing what side of the street he want to be on and telling lies and stuff, because there's people out there that don't know a lot about boxing that believes that bull. There's a whole lot of people out there that watch ESPN and think, why would ESPN lie? Or they don't even know to even think about it. All they know is, oh, this is ESPN. They know sports. Oh, Tim Bradley was a champion. I believe him. He was a champion. He has to know what he's talking about, right? You're not going to even think he could be lying. Is the fight official? Rosilla, what's up? Salute. No, the fight is not 100% official. That's why I got it up there as that. It's a lot of talks about it, and they're saying that it is coming, and that Thurman and Spence is supposed to be it's supposed to be a done deal. They're waiting to announce it and let all that stuff out. I don't know what they're waiting on, but right now that my stance is on it, I believe he's gonna fight Thurman. I'm hearing 154. I don't know how true that is. I don't know, but I'm just addressing the rumors and the things that other people are going out. I'm not taking a stance on that. Not at all. I'm not taking a stance on that because at the end of the day, none of us really knows. And everybody's trying to take a stance like Mike Coppinger, trying to act like he knows. You know what I mean? When you got kind of a numbers behind your name, whether it's on YouTube or on Twitter, when you put stuff out, people believe it because you got a name for yourself. You got a blue check mark, so they feel like you're telling the truth. And I don't want to let my stuff go like that. The fight has not been announced, but it's sanctioned by the WBC. Oh yeah, it's definitely sanctioned. WBC said they would sanction it. And the WBA, all of them said they would. And the WBA and the WBC said that it will satisfy the mandatory on there. Because see, at first, the WBC was the first one to step up. You see, really Spence was supposed to defend the IBF first because of Stanionis. Stanionis took step aside money twice. But he also, the last time he took step aside money was for Spence and Ugas to fight, and he was supposed to get the winner. Well, after that, now they went around it and they was gonna let him fight Crawford. Well, Crawford did what he did, so now the IBF is like, well, now you got Jerron Ennis in there and saying, hey, it's my, you know, I need to get up here. I need to be mandatory, right? So the WBC was supposed to mandate it and let them come out there. No. The WBA, no, listen, the WBA is taking exception to the rule, and they are now letting Stanionis and Ortiz fight for the eliminator, but Spence and Keith Thurman are fighting over there, and that's going to be to satisfy a mandatory, to satisfy it. That's what the WBA is saying. They letting that happen. Only WBC is sanctioning it right now. Well, the WBA said that they allowed it to happen too, though. You know what I mean? But like you said, the WBC is sanctioned, but WBC was the one that was the first ones that said that was the fight they was ordering. So they were the first ones. But the IBF, really, to be honest, is the belt that's supposed to be defended first. It really is, because when the IBF, Stanionis has been waiting a lot longer than all the other stuff. You see what I'm saying? So the IBF is really supposed to be at play first. It's supposed to be because, you know, Yeah, my bad. You're right. My bad. It's the WBA. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, the WBA. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. My bad. Yeah, the WBA. So it's the WBA. My bad. Is supposed to be the one where Stanionis and them was supposed to be fighting, and that's the root, because that's the belt that Pacquiao held. My bad on that. Yeah. What's up, Hollywood? Earl versus makes more money than Earl versus yeah. You think so? You think Earl versus Thurman makes more money than Earl versus Bud? I don't think so. Since Stanionis is WBA regular champ. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. My bad. I misspoke about that. Kind of got it screwed up in my head. But yeah, you're right. The WBA is where Stanionis is, and that's what Pacquiao had, right? And then when Pacquiao stepped out, that's when Ugas got the belt, because Pacquiao was gonna go run. But then when Pacquiao came back, nobody had fought, so Pacquiao won his belt back. And so they was gonna let Pacquiao and Spence, they was gonna sanction that, but then Spence got the eye injury, and then they just let Ugas and Pacquiao fight that one out. When really Ugas had got granted the belt while Pacquiao was gone. So that's where all the craziness started. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right about that. So yeah, that's it for the people that don't know. Yeah, for the people that don't know, but that's how it got going. So Pacquiao and Ugas fought that out, because that was gonna be a bad situation too. Because if Spence fought Pacquiao, then really Pacquiao really didn't have the belt. They really gave it to Ugas when Pacquiao left. So that was gonna be crazy, but that actually worked out better than what it should have worked out. It let them two guys fight. It let Pacquiao and Ugas fight. That got that out the way. Then Spence took that belt from them. So then there you go. So now the WBA was supposed to be defended by Stanionis, but because Stanionis had to wait, and because of this Crawford situation, they just said, okay, we let you guys fight an eliminator. So that's where we are. So yeah. So, but that's why I'm not putting no stock into that. I'm not listening to what Tim Bradley is saying. None of that shit. I'm not listening to that. All I care about is that they go ahead and make this fight. But we have to all be realistic about the whole situation. It's only so much these guys can say, because these guys getting their feelings. Then next thing you know, they look at it like they want to make the fight and they want to make the money. And I know you guys, somebody put up in the comment section that y'all think that Thurman versus Spence will make more money than Bud versus Spence. I don't think so. I think Bud and Spence would be the biggest paying fight between those two. I think Bud and Spence would be a little bit, will make more money than Thurman. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? That's definitely just my opinion. You know what I mean? That ain't one that we can 100% say, but I think that Thurman and Spence is a really good fight, but I think Bud versus Spence is the best one. Yeah, Bud Spence for sure. Yeah. Especially at the gate. Yeah. But on pay-per-view too. You know what I mean? Because it's for undisputed. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot more to go with it. Keith Thurman don't even hold a belt right now. You know what I'm saying? And Keith Thurman took that loss, and he didn't look too good with Barrios. Spence Thurman a few years ago, maybe. Yeah. Before, like you said, a few years ago, maybe. Before Spence and Thurman fought around the same time that Spence fought Porter. Yep. Around the time Spence fought Porter, if it happened around that time, it would have been right before that time. It would have been fireworks, made more money. Thurman has hurt his name for taking all this time off, and then you come in, you got beat by Pacquiao, and then turn around and Ugas do Pacquiao like that, swell them all up, and you barely survived the Pacquiao fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Spence hurt his own. Thurman hurt his own stock big time. Thurman hurt his own stock. That fight will not sell. Sorry. Which fight, Rosilla? Which fight you don't think will sell? Thurman versus Spence? Back when Thurman still had the WBC and the WA straps. Yeah. Even when he came back in, who did he fight last? Was it who did he fight? Who did Thurman fight last before Pacquiao? Who did he fight before Pacquiao? No, I don't mean Josecito Lopez. Not Josecito Lopez. He had a fight before Josecito Lopez. Oh yeah, guys. Y'all remember the phone lines are open. They ready to go. So, So if anybody need to call in, feel free to call right on in. Gerald said, my reasoning is that Thurman will make the fight because he know what's at stake. Bud won't. We won't see Bud versus Earl. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But I think at this point, how I really feel about Bud is that Bud doesn't have another. I think that's the biggest pay. Bud understands that Spence is the biggest payday. I don't think BLK Prime will come back and save Bud again. I don't think it's another fight in there for that. I don't think, and like I said, guys, I could be wrong, but I don't think BLK Prime is going to pay Bud to fight another David Avenesian again, because they didn't make any money off of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they'll do that. But I could be wrong. If they don't do it, then Spence is the best fight he got going, because who else is going to back him up? Thurman's looking for guaranteed money. Who is going to sign Thurman and get, not Thurman, Bud wants guaranteed money. Who else is going to give Bud guaranteed money? Who's going to do it? He can't go back to top rank. I don't think he will. I don't think so. But the zone doesn't want him. Eddie Hearn already said it. So who's going to go to? Golden Boy? What is Golden Boy going to do for him? That's business. You never go for what could be. If it happens, cool. But we going to nail what's realistic. Yeah, hey, listen, man. You could be right on that. But I think at this point, that Crawford doesn't have too many more options. Spence versus Thurman on pay-per-view will not sell. Undercard will not help either. You don't think so? I think it'll sell. Because Thurman still is a big name. Thurman still has a pretty decent name with him. It's not what it used to be, but it's still a sell. Thurman and Spence a sell. It really will. It'll be a nice little fight, man. Because think about it. Thurman might not have showed well, but Thurman only had one loss. And with Pacquiao, to be honest, on that Pacquiao fight, that knockdown that Thurman took down was really a step on the foot as he was stepping straight back. He fell down. So it really wasn't a good solid punch that got him down. And the thing that really got him, that really drove it home, was when Thurman got hit to the body, but Thurman didn't go down. He was hurt. But what does that matter? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you get hurt in a fight. It's how you recover and how you make yourself around. But Thurman got and started running. He got on his bicycle and started running. You see what I'm saying? So that's my problem with that. It's like that. It's just like, how do you guys feel about this? It's how the judges see it. Like this. It's like Rashidi Ellis won every round just about while he was fighting this last time, right? Villa hit him, knocked him down last round, needed a knockout. Did not get the knockout, but still won the fight. You know what I mean? I don't score my fights like that. But what do I care? I'm just a YouTuber, right? But the judges is what count. So the judges score who walked who down and their ending. They scored it and gave him the fight. You see what I'm saying? So they scored Thurman getting hurt. You know what I mean? But I don't give it to you unless you you got to finish your dinner. You got to clean your plate. And those guys didn't clean the plate. What's up, Terry Smoot? What's up with you, fam? Yeah, I don't think those guys, they didn't clean the plate. You can't give a man credit for just knocking a man down. You know what I mean? There's been plenty of fighters get knocked down and come back and win. This fight 2 years back will sell, but not now. Next, what? Charlo versus Andre, too late. You think that's too late? I think it's not too late if Andre gets another fight and wins, and if Charlo gets another fight and wins. But this Andre fight, a lot of people weren't impressed with that. I think Andre did decent. He moved up in weight. He was tired. He had a guy that was trying to brawl that was already accustomed to the weight. And the guy wasn't trying to box. He was trying to rough him up and get him out. You know what I mean? So he needs another fight at that. You know, it's like this. Once a fighter, Crawford said this about Spence. He said, I could fight Spence right now after this wreck. I don't want to fight Spence after this wreck. I want him to take on another fight to show how good, if he's okay before I fight him, because I won't get credit for that. It's the same thing with Thurman. You know what I'm saying? Like Thurman should have took on another fight before Spence. But to me, Thurman's looking for a payday. You know what I'm saying? Because Thurman wasn't trying to work his way back up. He's trying to go to the upper guys because he wants that payday. And that was his problem with Pacquiao. You've been out of the ring for so long. You say your hand is hurt, but you still going there and beat Pacquiao. You wasn't in shape because at the end of the fight, you was tired. When you fought Barrios, you was tired. So you not been taking the time to do the work. You only doing a little bit. You riding tremors. You not doing what it takes to be a champion again. You know what I mean? But we ain't heard from Thurman in a while. Maybe he's been doing it now. Said, bro, really don't want Spence, in all honesty. I don't think so either. I don't think he does either, but I think that he wants that payday now. I think that was the best one. You know what I'm saying? I think that Bud is like this. If you're going to take a fight, Bud wants to, you see Bud trying to make $10, $20 million, right? Who else is going to pay him? I don't think BLK is going to pay Bud to take on another David Avenesian fight. I don't. And who else is out there for him to fight? If he fights another one, this next fight is going to be worse than the David Avenesian fight. Because now I don't have Spence surrounding it to help pump it up. You said to you, Spence and the whole PBC is killing boxing? Oh, okay. Well, listen, the floor is yours, my man. You can explain. Oh, yeah, guys, remember the phone lines are open. And hey, Rosilla, phone lines are open, bro. If it's something on here that's just too much to type, feel free to call in. T-Word said Keith is going to talk to Ness from the Boxing Voice in a couple of days. Oh, okay. So we'll know, right? So if he's gonna talk to him in a couple of days, then I guess you think they are, because if Keith's gonna talk to him, that means that they're going to, if he's fighting Spence, they're gonna go ahead and make it official. You know what I mean? Because Keith ain't gonna be able to be the one. Spence will be the first one to be able to break the news. Same way that Mayweather wants to do. A-Side always wants to break the news. Said, Will Peoples, what's up with you? He said, good evening, show. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? It goes back to what we were saying about that. Anybody, like I said, anybody, guys, remember the phone line is open. Anyone you guys want to call in, feel free to do so. Make sure I got this thing up. Okay, I got it up and going. So like I said, anybody want to call in. But yeah, like I was saying, I was just making sure the phone lines are open, just checking all my knobs and stuff, make sure. But yeah, man, like Steven Espinosa said, yeah, we all get the reasons for accepting the deal. Get his reasons for accept. Yeah. But the thing about it is you had Crawford saying that I want to come out last for the fight. Spence gave him that. Really? Spence gave, when I was talking about the A-Side, it just reminded me what was another thing that they gave Crawford. They gave Crawford transparency like he wanted. They let him come out second like he asked for. Hold on one second. Hold one second, Gerald. Showboat Sports. Hold 1 second, Gerald. I had you guys tune in. I don't know what's going on with it. Just hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I got you tapped in here. Maybe it might be something on my end. Hold on. Let me make sure. Make sure I got you in here. Hey, Gerald. Hello?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, you are on, Gerald. Go right ahead, man. The floor is yours, man.
All right, cool. So yeah, I think that I don't think we'll see Bud versus Earl. I think after the Avenesian fight and what came about that, I think Bud will I don't think he'll be happy with what they may the renegotiations be. You know what I mean? And like I don't think he's going to get the same deal. If he does, great. But I don't think they're going to offer him the same things they were offering before. So I think it's like a fall in line type of thing. Like you couldn't do nothing on your own. now follow, our game plan.
Right.
I don't think it's pride to let him do that. So I don't think we're gonna see Spence. I mean, early Spence. He can't go past Spence and fight Charlo. So that's not gonna work. So he can stop all that talk about fighting Charlo. That doesn't make sense at this point. The other thing is that I think that the Keith Thurman, like Wood Sales, they had a dope undercard of like some good up and comers or some people that's at Spence's neck. Like what's the Fondor at 154? Maybe if they correct me if I'm wrong, but this should be enough time. If they say Spence versus Thurman fight is what, April or May they talking about, right?
April,
right?
April.
So is that enough time for Boots to get back? You know what I mean? You think that's enough time for Boots to get back? I do, but I don't know.
Boots could possibly do something by then, and stay on there. He could. He actually could.
Yeah. So I think if they have a dope undercard like that, then they can just, Crawford have to watch from the stands, and PBC and Showtime be able to keep doing their thing, and Spence and whoever else. But I think it'll sell if they have a real dope undercard. I think Keith Thurman knows how he got a mouthpiece. He knows how to market. So like I said, he got the goods for when it comes to that. He can hype it up. I don't think I think before when they had opportunity, Thurman and Spence, it probably would have been a lot bigger, but I still think it'd be bigger. The reason why I say Thurman versus Spence would be bigger than Spence versus Bud is because Bud ain't he don't want that.
Gotcha.
He doesn't want that. He's had all the opportunity to do it. He's been riding this thing for like past several years. And he really don't want that. So like he said so many times before, I'm already in the Hall of Fame. I'm not already in, but I'm bound for it. Like I'm good. My legacy is good. There's no point. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing. As far as Crawford looks at it, it seems like he's saying there's no point in me doing this. You know what I mean? Unless I get that money. And so I don't think he's gonna get that money.
Right.
So it ain't. He can ride off into the sunset, and he can say, we always debate who would have won. But yeah, so that's my that's my points when it comes to that. I think we've been a dope fight, but like I said, when it comes to business, I think you were saying earlier when Steven Espinoza was taking interview questions. To me, he kind of confirmed it. And, without saying, he kind of confirmed that Thurman versus Spence is kind of next, you know what I mean?
Right.
And the piece he said about Bud, completely agree with you. He was saying everything not to throw him up under the bus. But by the same token, he was saying like, yeah, Bud, you gotta be some trust. That's what he said. You gotta be some trust there though, and then we can make the fight. They take about 8 hours, but, really, actually, probably takes about 2-3 hours. Right. So to me, that kind of made me feel like there's some diva shit going on, behind the scenes. Like, okay. Like you said earlier, a lot of fighters have that ego, that pride, like, I should get the lion's share. So it probably will take about 8 hours and I like what he said too about like a good deal is where neither parties are completely happy. Right.
Because gotta be give and take on each end. And you can't it can't go all the way Spence side, and it can't go all the way Crawford side. It's gotta be, like you said, a happy medium where everybody feel like, well, man, it could have been better. Like you said, everybody a little man, come on, this is good enough. Let's just go and get this over with.
Facts. So that's my kind of like, I think that when it comes to Showtime, that to me, their best interest is to get the fight. How is it promoted? It's theirs. They can make the money off of it. Yeah, they probably will. They fool with Spence more, but ultimately, I think that his goal is just to get the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day,
I think
Showtime, like you said, Showtime's bottom line is they need these two guys fighting. They need to make money off of them and make the best men win. That's how Showtime look at it. Yeah.
So when I don't think they're too biased. Of course, like they know Spence out more than they do, but I think I agree with you. I think that's where they at. So in the meantime, Spence Bud threw like the whole thing off with doing that last minute stuff. I can see the WBO and everybody else giving Spence that slide to go fight his mandatory when Keith Thurman at 154 because it's like, well, we gotta. They like their interest is making money. So all right, what can we do? Thurman was let's work something out. Let's get this let's get this money.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Because we put so much and waited for so long on Spence versus Bud that after a minute, it's like, man, like, you know, it's like the cute girl. You put so much and time and stuff in, and she still ain't putting. Now you're like, man, whatever. I'm gonna go to the chick that, hey, you see girl over there, she look a lot better than what I thought. I'm not wasting my time with this pretty looking girl that ain't really about nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to go to the action at. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, you pretty, but you ain't about nothing. You just sit there and look pretty, like,
right,
whatever.
right.
So, so yeah. I think honestly, I don't know, but my thought is that Bud fool around and retire if he can't get like another Avenesian fight, or like, you know, like I said, as long as somebody willing to pay him what he expects, he gonna keep fighting. If he ain't getting that, he ain't fighting. Like you said, his doors are closing, the zone don't roam. Definitely Top Rank and Oscar, that's not even their type of fighter, you know what I mean?
Well,
I mean,
really,
he was with Top Rank, so it correct that, but he doesn't have too many other places to go.
But the thing is, he could just go ahead and sign over at there, or just do a fight by fight deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to sign with PBC, but just do a fight for fight deal where you say, okay, I want the Spence fight, I want the Charlo fight, and I want another fight. You know, you can set up 3 fights through them. You know what I mean? You can set that up. And then you say, okay, PBC, I'm done with you. But what that does is it gives you some fights to make some money. Because at this point in his career, Crawford just needs to do 2 things. Show that he is as bad as he say he is, right? And that's by beating Spence, beating Charlo if he can, and beating Boots or whoever else. 2 or 3 more good big fights like that, right? And collecting some good money on his way out the door. Because at the end of the day, you got 3 great fights still left in you. You know what I mean? If you could fight twice this year and once at the beginning of next year, and then after that, start taping it off, because you 36 now. Take you a couple of exhibition fights and some other stuff like that, and ride out.
Yeah. That's true. And I think that's exactly how he should play his career. But like he, to me, he has that like even if Espinosa said, and you know, Spence said, you know, he don't trust it. Like he don't have that. He don't trust Espinosa enough, or whatever it may be, enough to do that. Because what you said would be end all be all.
Yeah.
Fight by fight. Canelo did it, right? And when he fought, was it Plant? Yeah. So, you know, you ain't got to be locked into this long thing, but it's like he doesn't have, I don't know what it is he ain't catching or how he want it in his favor, but he's not doing the logical thing, in my opinion, and which, like you said, that would be it. So I don't think we have
he said what it was. Crawford did say what it was. Crawford said this, and this is how I take it. Remember, Crawford did an interview, and Crawford said that he felt a little bit slighted, because he said, when I was with Top Rank, y'all didn't want to make the fight, right? So I know y'all don't really work with Top Rank that much, but look what it's doing to me. And then as soon as I leave Top Rank, y'all want to make that fight. He said, but I'm like, y'all like, screw me. Y'all hurting my money over there, right? But at the end of the day, they never, Top Rank never sent that contract over to Spence now. You know what I'm saying? They never did. Because Bob said he would get that fight, and Bob promised him almost $1 million to get that fight, but they never sent the contract. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be so mad at PBC, but I think that's where Bud's disdain for BBC is coming from, is because that fight, or they didn't go after him the same way they went after the belts and stuff on their side. You know what I mean? So I think that's where Crawford is having a hard time working with him, and I think that's where he don't want to sign with PBC comes from. He's like, y'all could have done something when I was with Top Rank. Y'all messing around and, you know, treat me like I'm not even a champ. So I think that's where the problem coming in at.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing, right? So, you know, this is my thing with ESPN, and I can't stand ESPN boxing and Max Kellerman, because like they are super biased, right? They and I get it, because, you know, Top Rank and Bud was their company people, Tim Bradley. But by the same token, they're not giving people a realistic look at it. So, like, you may catch casuals because, like, you got Top 10 and ESPN, they got to know what they're talking about, like you said earlier. But when they come to, like, you know, a little bit, you know, more than casual fan, and then you get to the hardcore fans, it's like, come on, man, y'all. So, to me, that hurt Bud's brand even more. You know what I'm saying? Because he's associating with ESPN and Tim Bradley. Like, Tim Bradley be on he be on one. I was like, man, what is like? This dude have a job and he talks a lot of shit, but he makes sense here and there. But he be tripping, man. Andre Ward is another one. I like Ward, but sometimes it's like I understand that's their company. You can't bash them, but as ESPN, and you're supposed to be the sports place. It should be a little bit better than that. You know what I'm saying? So like when ESPN come out with the pound for pound and Spence or Charlo ain't on the list. You know what I'm saying? But Bud is up there, and it's like so you know what I'm saying? In retaliation, I guess it's only natural to be like, well, hell, Bud ain't nothing to us, then, you know what I mean? But you kind of get into this petty going back and forth, but you know, cool, that happened. But to get back to the logic, it's like, all right, this did happen in the past, or whatever, but we talking about money and making a fight right now. Right. You're supposed to be able to get over your feelings with thoughts and action. You know what I'm saying? Thinking of a plan and what I'm gonna do about it to help me get over my feelings. All right, that's how they did me before. All right, this is how we going, and let's move. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, man, it sucks. And now, like my last thing is that, like, I think we put so much hope and dreaming, and we talked about Bud versus Spence so much, and now to me, personally, it doesn't have the same flavor. You know what I mean? Like,
I understand.
If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. And if they do, yeah, it's gonna be kind of hype. But it's like, and I don't mean I'll watch it, of course. I ain't gonna front. I'll watch it, but it's not the same. I ain't gonna front. I'll watch it. But it ain't. It'd be at that point. It'd be like for bragging, right? Like I know how Spence was gonna kick his ass, but it's gonna have a different, like you know, like it's almost like. They let the bubble bust. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, okay, we still got it, but it's not. Damn, man, we would have to go through all of this just to get it, and it better not be no dud. It better not be a dud or like a type of thing with Floyd and Pac-Man.
Yeah. You wanted to deliver all this expectation.
And man, and that's kind of what I'm thinking it may be. Honestly, I am a Smith fan. I think Bud gonna be on his bicycle. You know what I mean? But that's me personally, though. But so yeah, man. At this point, it's like I don't know, me personally. It ain't gonna bother me if they don't fight. It got messed up, man. So yeah. So yeah, I ain't gonna hold you no longer, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you calling in, man. And we had Mr.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate you. Catch you back in the chat, man.
All right.
All right, man. Mr. Rosilla said, man, it's a lot of Spence cheerleaders in here in this camp. Man, I don't know if he's still in here or not. Mr. Rosilla, you still in here or you out? Yeah, he says a lot of Spence cheerleaders up in here, man. He feel y'all agreeing with Spence because y'all cheerleaders. Yeah, he said, breaking news, Oscar De La Hoya is reviewing Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia contract, and Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul signed. Said Rolly Romero announced Rolly versus Ryan Garcia fight for April on IG. Yeah, breaking news. Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia. Hey, Rolly just looking for a payday. What's up, ATL Anonymous? Yeah, man. Hey, it's crazy. Yeah. He said, what do you think? Will People said, what do you think of the UFC heavyweight champ getting fired and him coming to boxing? I think that it's okay. And the reason why I say it's okay, Will, is because, you know, Dana White don't pay his fighters, man. He don't pay them fighters, man. And then fighters want money, man, like John Jones. John Jones, like, look, man, let me take on a boxing match so I can make some decent money. You think about it, man. You end up getting punched in the face with hardly no gloves on. You breaking stuff. You remember John Jones kicked that guy, and when his foot was on the ground, as he turned, it broke his toe and it cut it open. Look at Anderson Silva. He kicked somebody and broke his leg. Look at what's his name? Now, Anderson Silva made a little bit of money, but you got John Jones. Them dudes should be millionaires, man. They like UFC legends, man. So yeah, I don't have no problem with anybody coming from Dana White and them UFC and coming to boxing trying to make him a payday. I don't see cause listen, when the UFC want to make money like they did off Conor McGregor with that whole thing, they made a killing off of there. You know what I'm saying? They knew how much money they was gonna make. It's just with the other guy, they don't want to do it. They don't want to what's the name it? You know what I mean? They don't want to it was crazy to me, man. You know, that's crazy. So like I said, they're not gonna make that much money off this heavyweight, so they don't care to do the fight. They don't care. They don't. Yeah, T, I haven't heard that one, man. Haven't heard that one, but I won't say that. I won't even mention that until I see something substantial. You know what I'm saying? I would hate that if that happened. He doesn't seem like the type of dude to do it, but hey, who knows? I mean, what is really the type? You know what I mean? So I have to shut up on that until I see that. I don't want to put it out there where it seemed like, you know what I mean? Where it seemed like I'm the one spreading that kind of stuff on people. Because that's a hard one to get by. You know what I'm saying? You know, because look how long, you know, remember they kept saying that about Spence, you know? Spence and Charlo and them. Man, look at his chest. You know what I mean? They, you know. But yeah, I hope not. I hope to. Appreciate it, though. Appreciate you showing that. Haven't heard it yet. But, man, I hope that is not true. You know what I'm saying? If it's true, hey, you know how we handle that. You know how we handle that. Y'all know how we handle that. We're not going to back off of them. We're going to say what we got to say, and we're going to stand on that one. But we let him see what he does on that one. Hopefully they'll be announced getting all that stuff together too. It's pitiful if that happened, man. You know what I mean? That'd be a bad situation for this point in his career. You know, just now had that, then it's gonna make it questionable about his last. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's gonna be a crazy one, man. That's gonna be a crazy one. But the rest of this other stuff is Ryan and Tank and all that other stuff. I remember Oscar was saying that. I honestly thought. Yeah, that's what I was going to get back around to is that I honestly thought Oscar don't want to make the fight. And I could be wrong. I just thought Oscar just didn't want it once I saw that. And I was on some chat rooms, you know, going back and forth with people tooth and nail over that one. You know what I'm saying? They like, I mean, you don't understand this, you don't understand that. I'm like, man, listen. De La Hoya trying to get out of that one. You know what I mean? he said he still got pillow fist. Yeah, that'd be crazy, man. Hey, it'd be crazy that happened and you still hit like that. That's sad, bro. That is really sad. You know? Or maybe that, you know, but anyway, we'll find out how that one roll out. We'll find out how that one roll out real soon. But this Tank versus Ryan thing, hopefully they get this thing in agreement. You know what I'm saying? But what I don't understand is you got these fighters that do all this agreeing and all this going back and forth until then. You know, Oscar said he was waiting on Ryan. Oh, he said he's waiting on Ryan. Okay, first he said that he wasn't receiving he hadn't received a contract back from him. Other than that, he's going over. So I guess that's Ryan you saying he was waiting on. It wasn't PBC. I thought he was saying it was PBC. He said Usyk has received an offer from Tyson Fury for unification fight. Fury wants more than 50% if fight is in UK. Wow. Why is that not a 50-50 fight? You know what I'm saying? That should be a 50-50 fight. You know? If Fury wants it. But that's another one of those things that Fury wants to say how, you know, you're going to have another situation on your hands like that with Crawford and them. You know what I mean? Hey, sometimes you got to take a little hit and then come up over the top. You know? Fury got 1 belt. Usyk got 3. So Usyk is A-side to me. What's up, Chicken Talk? I think Usyk is A-side on that one. I think that's a 50-50 fight right there. But he said if it's in the UK. Well, maybe he's doing it because he wants to fight down there in Saudi Arabia, where he can tilt the scales in his own favor. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's what it is. I don't know. I could only speculate that one. You know what I'm saying? I can only speculate on that one. So hopefully they get that one done. And then they were talking about Andy Ruiz and Wilder. He said most of the people would be there to see him. Yeah. At the end of the day, Usyk got 3 belts. Either you want a thing get undisputed or you don't. You know what I mean? I wouldn't play that game with Tyson Fury. I wouldn't. If I was Usyk, I'd say, look, man, you're not getting more than 50%. Matter of fact, don't even send me a contract with that on it because I'm just going to deny it. Don't waste your time. I'll go fight somebody else. Because Usyk still got 3 belts, man. He got other fights he can make. Tyson Fury, he got 1 belt. You know what I'm saying? And ain't a lot of people rushing to go fight Tyson Fury at all.
Call from.
Yeah, unanimous boxing.
To accept, press 1. To send.
Showboating Sports, man, you are on.
What up, Showboat?
What's up with you, fam?
Man, hey. I had made a video yesterday about the Ryan Garcia and St. David thing, right? Where they saying they was giving him a deadline till tomorrow, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So then I watched the interview today where they interviewed Oscar De La Hoya live. And he was like, I don't know why they saying that. I'm just waiting to see the contract from Ryan. Yeah, I'm supposed to be meeting up with Ryan today so we can go over the contract. I'm like, what the hell? Like, so how you get that misconstrued? You know what I'm saying? So from my misunderstanding of what he said, he was just waiting on Ryan to check out the contract. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say people be having a lot of stuff got them mixed up and going on. But I seen the man in the interview say this out his mouth.
Gotcha.
He said the fight still going to be on. He was just waiting to meet with Ryan today. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to stop by saying that.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you on that one, man.
Already, man. Hold it down, man. Keep doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm going to holler at you, man.
All right, man. Peace. Okay, well, there you have it. He said De La Hoya got the contract. They're just waiting on Ryan. So, you know, and listen, I was going off on that. Hey, listen, I was wrong. He said Ryan told Oscar, shut the F up. He got this. Yeah, chicken talk. Yeah, it's exactly what he done. He like, man, I got this, bro. I got this. Yeah, but hopefully, well, that's a good sign. Well, hopefully we're going to get that fight in April. You know what I'm saying? You know? And maybe I was like one of them other people, man. You know, I be trying. Listen, all we can go is by what we heard. I try not to go out there too much until I see stuff official coming from somebody credible. Just like I was saying, as far as this Keith Thurman versus Earl Spence thing, I don't want to jump all over because of that Mike Coppinger, but I jumped all over this Oscar and Ryan thing, and I'm going back and forth, man. Oscar don't want to fight. If they don't make this fight, you know, I was going off on it. You know what I mean? So now I got to go stand on that, and so I got to go in there and say, hey, I was wrong. I got to go in there and say I was wrong, man. It's one of them things, man. You wrong. You got to admit you're wrong. So I'm going to say Oscar wanted to make the fight. You know what I mean? And this is what's crazy. This is what's crazy as hell. This is in a group where I've been arguing, taking up for Ryan. You know what I mean? This is a group that most of them dog Ryan. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And this is a Mexican group. It got more Mexican people in there, right? It's got more Mexican people in there. And they be going off on Ryan. I be like, man, I be taking up for Ryan. You know what's funny, man? This is the funniest shit though. Anytime you say something about a fighter that somebody likes, they gonna call you the worst. You know what I'm saying? Like when you talk about Crawford doing stuff wrong, oh man, y'all love Spence. You a Spence lover, you hate Crawford. I say something about Canelo, they go off on me. Ah, man, you just don't like Canelo, man. You just y'all, you know, trying to say I'm prejudiced, whatever else, right? I go off on Keith Thurman in the same chat room. They won't say, listen, dude, I have dogged Keith Thurman until I just couldn't dog that dude no more, right? They don't have nothing to say. T Hunt, what's up with you, fam? They don't have nothing about me dogging. They act like I don't even do it. Dude, I have dogged Dillian White. Man, I want him out of the sport. They won't say a word, right? But if I say something about Canelo, they go off. Ah, man, you know, man, y'all just hate Canelo, and you know what I mean? And they gonna talk, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, dude, I ain't doing it because of race or anything else. I'm doing it because of boxers, you feel me? But they know that by now because we've been arguing this stuff for the longest in there. But when they got new people come in, they always test the waters. Man, what's up with dude? What's up with dude? Then I go in there and go off. I go off about every damn thing. I don't understand why they need to tune up. I don't understand it. I don't understand that. Until they damn lose. When they lose, they don't need to tune up. They lose like AJ did. Cherry picking. But you know what the thing is? Some of them do be rusty though. Some of them do be rusty. I get that. But the problem is you rusty because that's what you chose to be. You know what I'm saying? Like when Crawford started out that fight with David Avenesian, it was, you could see he was a little bit, he wasn't as sharp. When Spence fought Ugas, The first few rounds, Spence was off. He was off. But like Spence said, you know, you got to be confident in yourself. You got to make the adjustments. Spence was off the first part of the fight. So was Crawford. You know what I mean? That layoff, it does get to him a little bit. And that's why Damon jumped on Andre, because he knew the first few rounds you're going to be a little bit rusty. I mean, he gave Andre hell first couple of rounds, roughing him up, wouldn't let him get his time and get none of that. He made that fight gritty as hell on Andre. You know what I mean? But that's why they say they need to tune up to go in there and get their time, get all their stuff on without all the headgear where it really means something. They don't really want to get hurt too bad up in sparring. But shouldn't training take any of the rest off? It does a little bit, man, but it's not the exact same. It's not 100% the exact same. You know what I mean? Because for the most part, you got headgear on. You got people that ain't really trying to hit you and take your head off. So it changes the whole ball game up when you're in a live fight versus in sparring. You know what I mean? Training can do a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's a little different, especially when you're on that level. You know what I mean? Like when you're on the level of Spence and Thurman and Crawford and all those guys, it's more up here mental, and it's more of a chess match than it's just out here just throwing punches. You know what I mean? And then they timing is off a little bit, and just, you know what I mean? All that stuff is off just a little bit. Their eyes off. What's up, Leon Robinson? So that's these fighters fought 1 or 2 times a year. Yeah, easy. Yeah, easy world. Yeah, you're right. That's what happens. You know what I mean? They're not as active. And then sometimes certain fighters, they're not doing anything until it's time for training camp. Like they might do a little bit, but some of them get out of shape. Like Adrian Broner, they ain't in the gym. They ain't doing a lot of stuff in that gym, man. They eating, they getting out of shape. They ain't in the gym as much. They work out and run a little bit, man. But boxing is hand-eye coordination too. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's about timing and everything. You got to have your whole body got to be all that. You got to be polished and ready. So a lot of these fighters right there, man, when they go in here and do that sparring and stuff, they need a few rounds and that live stuff to pick their rhythm back up. They lose their rhythm a little bit. That's really what it is. But you probably know more about somebody that's really been in there and a real good to elite. You know what I mean? I think it's a little different on each level. I think that if you're in Golden Gloves, you're not going to really see no ring rust as much. But you're going to see a lot of ring rust when you up on a level where if you breathe wrong or flinch wrong, that could be a cause for you to get knocked the hell out or get punched right. You know what I mean? Because them boxers, man, they watching your chest. They not watching your eyes. They watching your chest, see where you punching from. And then y'all sitting there trying to trick each other and trying to set each other up to fall into something. So those timing and that little thing could be off. And then they get excited. They get, like Spence said when he was fighting Ugas, he said, when I kept going in there, he said, I was really excited. I was pressing it and trying to get in it, trying to really, I'm missing it. I'm trying to get all the way in it. And that you start making mistakes. But when they fight a tune-up, nothing take forever to fight. Yeah, that's the problem. Like Crawford had this tune-up right here, and now it's going to be 6 more months before he fights again. You know what I mean? Or longer than that. Because think about it. If Spence fights in April, Spence can't turn right around and fight in May. So it's got to be after May. And that's going to give Crawford 6 months right there. So then Crawford, they probably, let's say hypothetically, Spence fights Thurman, beats Thurman, April. Him and Crawford get together, get a contract signed, because he got to hurry up and do it before the other sanctioned body kicks in. So let's say in May, they might fight September. They might not even September because of, I think PBC took September. So they might be able to fight in September. So then you think that's almost a whole nother year Crawford is off. You know what I'm saying? Because Crawford fought in December. So then by the time you fight in September, that's 10 months. That's 10 months. So you had another 10-month layoff. Yeah, right. Old school don't have that choice. Didn't have that choice. Yeah. Yep. And the other thing about it too, it's almost going, and they got to market it a whole lot better than they used to. You know what I mean? Used to, in them old school fights, it didn't take a whole lot to market your stuff. You know what I'm saying? You put it on HBO, it was out there. You know what I mean? It wasn't HBO and you know what I mean? It was People didn't have all this other stuff out there too. They didn't have internet. They didn't have all that other stuff out there that they had other options. Now, so many people watching so many other different things. You got soccer, you got UFC, you got all kind of other stuff that's going on out there that's taking attention. So you have to advertise yourself out of there. He said August time frame. Yeah, it could be August, September. Yep, because PBC bought up September. I think they bought up September too. They got May, they got September, so they bought all those for next year. They already done ran the thing on that. Says Spence ain't coming back to welterweight, no chance. I don't know. The reason why I say the reason why I say I don't 100% know, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I say that. Because they got it set at 154 doesn't mean he got to come in at 154. He might come in at 149. He's just saying, think about it like this. And this is just my own thought process. He's setting it at 154. So if he can only make 149 because of his injuries or whatever else, and if it's a tactic he's using on Thurman, a little bit of both, I don't know, but he doesn't have to come in at 154. He come in at 149. See what I'm saying? But if he sets it at 147, he's got to make 147. So to be more comfortable, he said, okay, we'll put it at 154. That's where the exception is. I show up at 149. My next fight, I just got to lose 2 pounds. That don't put him too far off. Because he know Keith ain't coming in at 154. Keith ain't making 154 because it's going to be putting too much weight on Keith. And even at 154, if he's 149, it's going to be right there at it. Yeah, like T said, 150, 152, you could be there. You still be at 149. You know what I mean? Still could be there, but you're comfortable at that. You know? Now, if Spence was fighting a 154 pounder, he's got to show at 154 because the day of the fight, them guys going to be 160 something. You can't be in there at 149, 150 making that. You have to be at 154. You got to be, if you fight a 154 pounder, a true 154. Because them 154s are really 160s fighting down at 154. Most of them are. Some of them supposed to be fighting at 160. You know what I mean? They can make 160, no problem. So if you fighting that guy, you want to be 154. But with Keith Thurman, you want to be 150. So even if they said at 154, we'll see what he shows up at right there on the weigh-in. And that'll tell you. They said that they could lose all 3 belts. They said Spence could lose all 3 belts, is what they said. Steven Espinosa said that. Said that Spence could lose all 3 belts. So that's what Steven Espinosa said. But the rumor said that they're not fighting for a belt. But they got to be fighting for a belt if it satisfies mandatory. You know what I mean? So it's got to be a belt online if it's going to satisfy mandatory. And WBC is sanctioning the fight. So they backing it up. So it's a sanctioned WBC fight only. Leon said tweeners. Yeah, remember guys, phone lines are open. Anybody want to call in, sound off, say something, whatever else, any too much to type, feel free to call in. The line is always open, my man. Line is always open. Said the WBA, the IBF are not on the line. Oh, okay. So it wasn't. So you remember when I read that story, they were saying that the WBA was making an exception and was okay with it, saying that they backed that and it was going to be a mandatory for they was going to let that not be a mandatory. It was something that they was making an exception to the rule on something. But like I said, I don't know. I've been reading a few little things, so I don't even know where I read it at. Not legal. Can't be 154 and defend at 147 belt. Well, whoa. They made a catch weight. You know what I'm saying? It's really catch weightish. Because you remember they did that for the WBC, Mauricio Suleiman. They're allowing time. Mauricio Suleiman. Oh, okay, that's what they're doing. This is allowing time. They make an exception to it to allow that time, let them do it. Yeah, so Mauricio Suleiman already said that they've had some other fights that didn't occur at their weight and they went up. So they have done it before. They have done that before. WAR. So listen, man, when it comes to boxing and it comes to money, they make and bend rules, man. They just do. Look what they did for Canelo. They do it. Said Pacquiao did it for that Margarito fight. Yeah, thanks, Leon. Yeah, I knew they did it for some other one. Yeah, they have. They've done it, man. They've done it, dog. Listen, man. Over the years with the boxing, sport of boxing, it's, to be honest, AAR, it's all kind of shit that went on in boxing. That unless you was right there in the era and saw that stuff, you probably wouldn't remember it. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, when you go all the way back to the 80s, it was some crazy shit going on that they did. You know what I mean? It was some crazy stuff that they did.
Terry Smoot Jr.
To accept.
Showboating Sports, Terry Smoot Jr., you're on, my man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Showtime. How you doing this evening, sir?
Man, I am doing just fine, man. The floor is yours, my man. Go on, do your thing.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to chime in real quick. I believe only a few years ago, we actually had a fight where somebody had to defend a belt. Well, it was a little bit of a different fight, but it's the same connotation. Remember when Tank Davis fought Leo Santa Cruz and both the 135 regular and the 130 super belts were on the line?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I wanted to say that example where Tank Davis, he had to drop down to 130, but his 135 regular belt was on the line, along with Leo Santa Cruz's WBA Super 130. So, I mean, there are certain times where sanctioning bodies, they can mandate fights like out of weight classes and put belts on the line. That was just a recent history. I just wanted to say that for everybody. How you were giving off a few examples, I was like, wait, we just had one with Tank Davis and Leo. I just wanted to, just bring that little point up real quick, Showboat.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in and saying that, man. Appreciate it.
I'll be back in the chat, but keep the show going. You got a good show going, sir.
Thanks, man. Well, we got a good show, man. It's all of us in here just making this thing happen, man. Appreciate you, fam.
Mm-hmm.
All right, later. Yeah, man. So he's right about that. So, like I said, man, that's why I say things in boxing, man. When everybody act like they know every damn thing in boxing, man, it's some different stuff that goes down, man. Yeah, he said he who has the gold makes the rules. Yep. All them belts dropped. Facts. Yeah, man. Listen. Anytime that a sanctioning body want to do something, man, they do it, man. They do it. But sometimes they have a little bit of a reason to make it work, you know? They need a little bit of a reason to make it work, you know? So you never know. But in this situation, they did it. That's what they saying that they done. You know what I mean? We won't know until it's announced and we'll hear all the announcements and all that. But that's why I was like, man, certain things I jump in on and certain things I try to be smart enough to sit back and let it play out. You know what I mean? Because other than that, you're going to be sitting around saying, hey, man, my bad, you know? But I don't care about being wrong. If all parties agree, it's a no issue. Yeah. And when you want to fight bad enough, it's not an issue when you know what up front. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it like this. Think about this. If we're going to fight this fight at this certain weight, then we turn around and say, man, I'm going to give you a rehydration clause. The belt didn't say, the IBF got a rehydration clause. You got to be a certain weight for the IBF. But with the WBC, you don't. So you think about that. They make exceptions or stop that shit. They do what they want, man. Especially when you want to fight bad enough, you'll agree. Yeah, Margarito was loading his gloves and shit. Yeah, that whole Margarito thing was just crazy, man. It was crazy, dude. I don't know how you even get to fight again after that shit. Yeah. Floyd and Maidana. Yeah. The WBC super welterweight, WBA and super. Yeah. See, what it is Floyd knew where he topped out at. You know what I mean? Them was things, but they all want that sanctioning body. But plus, Floyd was a little guy coming up too. So they're going to do what it takes. Yep. Just like no guarantees. Yeah, man, you're right. But y'all right about that. Floyd versus Maidana. Yeah, man. Yeah, you're right. Well, you know what? It's supposed to be the champ is supposed to be the one with the belt, but Floyd put himself in a position he didn't need to be undisputed. You know what I mean? And they throw that back at Floyd, but at the end of the day, Floyd could have been that. But like they know is it goes down to politics and what goes on behind behind the curtains, you know what I mean? Back behind the doors, you know what I mean? You got fighters like, it's just like this Crawford thing and Spence thing. You know what I mean? Spence saying he wants to be undisputed, and Crawford like, hey, I ain't gonna give you a shot at it, right? Or whatever. I'm gonna get what I gotta get to give you this. Same thing Plant did Canelo. Plant was like, I want this certain amount of money, and I'm sticking to it. Canelo wanted to fight bad enough. Guess what? They came, they gave what he wanted, you know? But at the end of the day, if you a fighter and you fight the better names, you don't really, it doesn't, you can outdo the belts. Like, look at Tank. Tank had a damn good point the other day. Devin, you might hold all the belts, but I'm the bigger name. Everybody gonna listen. If Tank say, if you got a chance to fight Tank or Devin, most people gonna take Tank because of Tank's name and Tank's popularity. Look at Ryan. Ryan is wanting to fight Tank. He don't want to fight Devin. You know what I'm saying? Now, Cure wants them all, but you know, you think about it. Loma was wanting to fight Tank. He didn't want to fight Devin. You know what I'm saying? Loma wanted Tank. A lot of people wanted Tank. And Tank is a big name cash cow. You know, you're going to make a name for yourself. You know what I mean? That big name puts you on a bigger stage than most of the time the people with the belts. So you're going to pass up the people with the belts. But like y'all said, Judah and Spinks had it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, who was more important? Who was more important to that, to those eras? You know what I mean? Oscar had a huge name for himself, but Oscar was bigger than that because he fought everybody. You know what I mean? Oscar plumb out fought everybody, dude. And went. Listen, Oscar bought the damn noise. Oscar wasn't in there bullshitting around, man. Oscar went in there to make the fight and stood his ground. Oscar went in there and did his thing, man. So it's like this. If let's say Tank fights Ryan, Tank goes around and then turns around and fights Shakur Stevenson, would you really care he don't fight Devin? I would like for him to fight Devin, but if he giving us the fights we want to see with the people we know that can flat out fight, what can we say? We're not gonna say, oh man, Tank, you ain't nothing because you didn't go get undisputed. I want to get undisputed, but shit, I want to fight Devin. I want to fight Shakur. I want to fight Ryan. Those three guys I want to fight. If Devin leaves the what's name and he goes up and he fights some bigger people up at 140 and don't get a belt, hey, yeah, Oscar was cash cow. Oscar was. He was. But he could have been undisputed. He could have went for that. He really could have. And back then it was 3 belts. You didn't even need 4. But Oscar fought everybody. I wonder why Oscar never went and pushed to get all of them. You know, back in the day, man, they were just fighting. Them dudes was fighting. They won that belt. But once they won a belt or two, they was like, man, fuck that. They was like, man, forget that. I got a belt. I don't care nothing about getting another belt. I want the belt, but I want him. I want his name. I want to beat him and prove I'm better than him. That's what it got down to. You know what I mean? Right now, people just hiding behind stuff. Right now, back in the day, it was more for making a name for yourself. Now it's more who gonna have the most money. That's it. Who can make the biggest money on there? That's what everybody's shooting for right now. Who can make the biggest money? Only very few people trying to fight everybody. You know what I mean? Usyk is trying to fight everybody. Wilder is trying to fight everybody. It's just what it is.
Call from
Showtime is Terry Smoot Jr.
Showboating Sports. Terry, you back on, man. What's going on with you?
Hey, real quick question, Showtime, or Showboating. Real quick, when we just mentioned something about Oscar De La Hoya, I thought Oscar fought for undisputed because didn't he fight Bernard Hopkins at 160 for undisputed, or was that versus a different person?
I can't remember now. Hold on. Let me think. Bernard Hopkins beat.
I know B-Hop.
He
took one of the belts off of
Felix Trinidad. Wasn't it Felix Trinidad he took that belt from?
Okay, he took Felix, but then I thought B-Hop also took he also took De La Hoya's belt at 162.
He might have. I know when Floyd beat De La Hoya. Hold on, let me look. I'll just look and see. That'd be easier. Let me look up here and see. That way I won't be quoting stuff that I'm wrong. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let's see, Oscar.
You might be right. It might be Felix Trinidad. You might be right.
I can't remember. I'm a little cloudy off all that now. Hold on. I'm on Oscar's boxing rec right now. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Oscar lost to Floyd Mayweather Jr., Manny Pacquiao, Bernard Hopkins. He lost to Bernard Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see if it was. Let me see if it was a belt. You're right. He did lose to Bernard Hopkins. Yep. And let me see if it was for a belt. Let me see. It was. Yeah, it was IBF, WBA, WBC, and WBO.
Oh, it was so Oscar did fight for undisputed one time and came up short.
Yep.
That body shot put him to sleep.
Yep.
Nope. That was just it. I just wanted to say that because, like you mentioned, you didn't know if Oscar competed. Fought for undisputed. I didn't know, but then I knew that. B-Hop had took a belt or something off him. So I just wanted to say, no, keep going, Showtime. I'm still listening.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. Yeah. No, but I'm glad you did. Because, like I said, man, them back in the day fights, man, I ain't watched them in so long that they kind of get a little cloudy. But you're right, and I remember in the Bernard Hopkins.
You're bringing up all the fights. You're bringing up the fights my uncles never watching, like back in the old HBO boxing and stuff was that. So I'm remembering all them old conversations. So you making me take a stroll down memory lane.
Yeah, man, it was some good fights back there, man. And was it Roy? Mm-hmm. Roy Jones might have beat up. Yeah. Bernard Hopkins beat Felix Trinidad. Sure did. Felix Trinidad was 40-0. He beat Felix Trinidad. Yeah, he beat him. He beat him back in when was that? Felix Trinidad. It was back in 2001. So yeah, it was. Hey, listen, but that era, you had Ike Cortez, you had Felix Trinidad, Shane Mosley was coming up. The Floyd Mayweather had.
That was a golden era. That was a golden era of boxing. Like HBO boxing was popping every Saturday. Like you can see HBO fights. Like that, I remember going to my uncle's houses, and they always had fight parties and pizza, and you just had HBO. All that. They need to find a way to refund that or find a way where HBO can bring that back because HBO boxing, it was good before it went out of business.
Yeah, it was. But they also had Don King in that era too. And Don King made people fight back in them eras. You know what I mean? And then you had Floyd Mayweather. It was like a new generation. Remember, Floyd Mayweather had retired, went over there, went into WWE wrestling, that kind of stuff. Then he came back.
Hey, he did that little thing with the big show just trying to get money, but Tyson did that too.
Yeah,
Tyson was up there with Stone Cold Steve Austin and them.
Yep, he sure was. And you remember when the show got down on his knees and let Floyd punch him, and Floyd broke his nose?
Floyd really broke his nose.
Yeah, Floyd punched him and broke his damn nose. And I think Floyd took off running after that.
Yeah, Leonard Ellerby was there too.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Hey, you know what? People don't understand why Leonard Ellerby and Floyd are so cool. Leonard Ellerby was in Floyd's corner. He was one of Floyd's men. So he was there with Floyd the whole time. You know what I mean? But that's back. That's back.
The next thing. It's never a bad thing to keep an educated man on the side because from what people have told me, Leonard Ellerby has an MBA, a Master's in Business Administration. So that man is smart.
Yeah, they all are. Man, he circled himself around there. And a lot of people don't understand the whole story about Floyd. You see, man, people thinking Floyd was just a good boxer, but there's a whole thing about Floyd that ain't nobody's even recognizing. Like Floyd was raised by champions, and people say, "Oh, well, Roger, his dad." Yeah, but also you got to remember this. Floyd also was raised by Sweepy Whitaker. Purnell taught Floyd, right?
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna give you another name too. It was Frankie Randall. You heard Floyd talk about Frankie Randall. Frankie Randall was a good champion too, right? Frankie Randall had a drug problem, but the dude was amazing. That's who Floyd went with when Floyd was 15 years old.
I bet you Floyd takes like his mindset and everything possibly after that Frankie Randall guy because notice how Floyd, I hear all the stories about Floyd will be in the club, he'll do all this stuff. Floyd ain't never taken a sip of no alcohol or anything, and I hear that he runs back from the club to the gym as like his cardio.
I'm like, maybe he took that whole thing, or maybe he saw a very great fighter, but drugs played him, or played that fighter. So now he's like, nah, I wouldn't want that to be. I wouldn't want me to be like that. So maybe he takes an example like that and he molds it into his life. Like, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to smoke. Why do that? I got money. I'm the same shit. Things like that. You got it as an example.
Well, he said after his dad, because his dad had a drinking problem too. You know what I mean? His dad, Floyd Mayweather's dad went to jail and stuff. And then Frankie Randall had a real bad drug problem too. See, when Floyd Mayweather Sr. went to jail, Floyd was traveling the country, and I think Floyd dropped out of school. He was going around the country making money, sparring people. Well, he got with Frankie Randall, and Frankie Randall had a little bit of money back in the day. And Frankie Randall took him up under his wing and brought him down. See, Frankie Randall is from he lived in Morristown, Tennessee.
Yeah, hopefully.
He lived down in Morristown, Tennessee too.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
That's awkward for a Michigan, for a Flint dude to hang out with like a Tennessee dude, but
yeah. But see, Frankie Randall was so cold-blooded. See, I know Frankie Randall. Just like I knew Big John Tate. So a lot of them guys came around from that era, and them guys was some boxing dudes, right? But Frankie Randall was cold. Right. Let me tell you one thing they did about Frankie Randall. He was so out of shape because he'd been on drugs real bad. They end up putting Frankie Randall in there with somebody. He hadn't been training nothing. He gave the dude hell. Frankie Randall has so much good skills. He actually was a champion. He won a belt. They put him in there. I forgot who it was he won that belt off of. Then the next time around, they robbed Frankie Randall. They robbed him. But Frankie was cold, man.
Hey, what he could always say is, once a champion, always a champion.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He can always say that,
Yeah. Frankie Randall was cold-blooded, man. He should have been he should have been a big name just like Floyd Mayweather, but he was on drugs like a lot of them guys were back in the day. A lot of them was. Hell, Mike Tyson was snorting coke. And what they were doing was they was letting these boxers get high and do all that stuff, and it was a way of controlling them. Don King was trying to control everybody, man. He really was.
Well, I hate to say it, like, it's almost like even in football, like Lawrence Taylor and like Michael Irvin, the little bit of nose candy, but can't tell me on the field they weren't stellar athletes, things like that. It's just sometimes, they even got caught up. So, but no, like, hey, I didn't even know that about Floyd. So you did definitely kick me onto some new knowledge. And plus, I would implement it into my life. Like if I was Floyd around a person like that, and I see my future as a young person, like, you sort of see the good that you want to take from him and see the things you don't want to do that you take from him too. So it's always a pleasure to talk to you, show.
Appreciate it, man.
You got a good show.
Appreciate it.
You good. No, keep it going. Like I enjoy the conversation. I'm listening in. My bad that I called in the second time, but like I said, you got a good show. Keep the content rolling.
Man, don't feel bad about calling in, man. That's what the phone lines are there, man. If it's too much stuff to type, I appreciate you guys calling in, man. It ain't no big deal. You come in here and say what you guys say. We keep on rolling, man. You know what I mean?
Oh no, we'll do continue the show. I'll be in the chat, sir.
All right, man. All right, later. But yeah, man, like I was saying about Floyd Mayweather, man, a lot of people don't understand the whole dynamic of Floyd Mayweather. The way you're fighting this dude was like a little kid. He was a little kid, and and you got Roger, you got Jeff, Roger, you got all of them guys that were champions. And then you train with champions. So when your uncle and your dad and them couldn't be there, you had Sweet Pea Whitaker working with you. You had Frankie Randall working with you. And you honestly think that these dudes that come and fight Floyd done seen it all. He dropped out of school. Floyd is a pro, dude. Floyd is just, he was ridiculous with it, man. He understood it. He's you're just not going to come up. You can come from another house full of champions and you're still not going to get all that Floyd got. You can't. You can't get everything that Floyd got. You can't even pay for the knowledge and the people that work with Floyd. You know what I mean? When Floyd worked with these champions were in their prime. You know what I'm saying? You can't get that. You know what I mean? These guys wasn't over the hill when Floyd worked with these guys. Frankie Randall was young. Sweet Pea Whitaker was young. And then your dad and all that. And that's just a few that y'all know. Floyd went around the country, wasn't making money. They was bringing Floyd into camp so Floyd could make money. Floyd was sparring every single day. Every single day. and he learned from the greats. He got all these Hall of Famers that taught him. So when you think other people that's gonna come in here and these other dudes gonna beat Floyd, they're not gonna beat Floyd. You're not gonna beat him, dude. It's just not gonna happen. But the difference is between boxing back then and boxing now is back in the day, everybody fought everybody. It was just you knew you was gonna fight the guy. Now there was a few people dodged. Like I said, you can't fight every single person, but them guys got a kick out of it. Win or lose, you was fighting. And if you was with Don King, you was definitely fighting. Don King made everybody fight. You can say what you want to say about Don King, but what Don King did was he made sure everybody stayed broke to where they had to fight their next fight. They couldn't pick and choose. Right now, you got Canelo to make $30 million. Why the hell would Canelo go turn right around and fight Charlo after I got $30 million in the bank? I can retire from right here, bro. I'm good. I already considered the face of boxing and a boxing great. So regardless to whether I fight Charlo, Benavidez, Andre, any of them guys, I'm rich beyond. I'm already looked at being one of the greats. You know what I'm saying? So you're never gonna get them to fight. You're not gonna get them to fight. You're not gonna get these dudes to fight, man. It's only very few dudes that overlook that. It's business in the millennium. More money, more problems. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But at the end of the day, think about it. Crawford just showed you. You know, people think you're going down, you going against Crawford, but look at Crawford. I'm gonna make $10 million fighting David Avenesian. Well, he knew he wasn't gonna make that, but look what he made. He fought a dude that got knocked out by a guy he had already knocked out, and they're gonna give you millions of dollars to do it. Why would you not go take that? That's how Crawford look at it. You know, I got a sparring match coming up with a guy I can probably beat one-handed. I'm gonna take that easy $2-3 million. Because Spence ain't gonna be a walk by. Lennox Lewis, yeah, that never happened. That never happened. And Riddick Bowe didn't want that fight. Riddick Bowe didn't want that fight. Riddick Bowe made a little bit of money, man. He made a little bit of money. The problem was Riddick Bowe on that one. The problem was Riddick Bowe. Yep, says as fans, we got to adapt to the way the market works. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. You know what I mean? If you're not, it's like if you're not talking and stand on what they stand on, it's like I'm old school when it comes to boxing. A lot of people don't really hear that shit. You know what I mean? You know, times change. And like you say, you gotta adapt to that. You know what I mean? My way of thinking in boxing, I'm old school, but I am new school. I can understand it. I don't like it. You know what I mean? But I understand it. I get it, right? I can adapt to change, but I like to talk with the rules in my head for that. You know what I mean? Of the way it used to be. Said Roy Jones versus Chris Eubanks. Yeah, but nah. Listen, Roy fought Bernard Hopkins. Roy made a whole lot of fights that with him and Chris Eubanks, nobody cared. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. You can't fight everybody, but you can make some of the key fights. You know what I'm saying? When you look at Sugar Ray Leonard, there's people that Sugar Ray Leonard didn't fight. There's always somebody that you didn't fight. You know what I'm saying? It's always that. He said, did the Tank pay-per-view? I don't know if it tanked or not. I don't know. I know they try to say it did, but I know that the stadium, I mean, at the Coliseum, that was sold out and packed. I mean, pay-per-view should have done pretty good, I would think. I think it should have been successful. I wouldn't think it tanked. You know what I mean, so to speak, where they just didn't do nothing, because now they're talking right back around to go do it again. So, you know, for them to hurry up and immediately bringing Tank back in there for that, but I think it was solid. You know, I'd say it was a solid thing. But at the end of the day, the network didn't lose no money on it because they fighting and getting a percentage. You see what I'm saying? They fight and get a percentage. So it ain't like PBC losing that way. Showtime, them companies ain't losing on that. Y'all know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they left the fight again. So when you say tank, I don't know what it means by really tank unless you say they lost a lot of money. I seen some reports, not the Gate Show pay-per-view numbers. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Will. I don't know. I haven't really seen the solid numbers. I saw that too. I saw some stuff, but I haven't seen nothing concrete. So I just didn't even, you know what I'm saying? I didn't see it, so I didn't see it. Said you gotta stop listening to Rick Glacier for that. Glacier said it, Tank. Yeah, but Glacier gonna say that. Hey, did y'all see what I hit Glacier up? I said, how does it feel you falling from grace? And he hit me back, said, man, but I never fail. He was hot about me saying that shit to him too. He responded to that shit. I said, Rick Glacier, man, Rick Glacier be with that shit, man. But at the end of the day, man, it goes like this, man. Yeah, Rick Glacier is. But let me tell y'all this, man, and this is the truth, man. No matter what most of the sides of the fence are, whether you're a boxer or you are a commentator or you're just a journalist, whatever you want to call that, and YouTubers and people on Facebook, whatever you want to call it, you got to be in it about make money, and you got to get up under people's skin. And that's why you see certain channels do well. You see certain people like Mike Coppinger, all of them. They say shit. That's why Polly Malignaggi is taking the stance he's taking. Oh, Spencer's ducking and all that, because it starts drama and people clicking on drama. When you just talk and tell it like it is, and you're not giving drama on one side of the fence, either way, you suffer. Look at people's YouTube channels. You know what I mean? When shit goes down, and Mike Coppinger and Rick and Glacier, it's the same shit, man. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. Man, listen, I don't 100% know how BLK did, but we all know that the stadium wasn't like Tank Stadium, and the pay-per-view was only $39. That's only $40. You know what I'm saying? Said when you go live on Facebook. What about when you go live on Facebook? What is that? What does that mean? Said 120 was reported on which fight? On which fight, T? Are you talking on BLK or are you talking on Tank? Which fight you reporting on? Yeah. And Dre, clear that up for me, because you said when you go live on Facebook. I don't know what you mean on that one. But that's what it is, man. BLK, yeah. If they win 120,000, and you got to look at it, it's 120,000 times 40. You know what I mean? It's only $40. You know what I mean? So that gives you that. If they did 120, it's just like they did 60,000, basically. Because if you doubled the money and had 79, so it's like they really just did 60,000 pay-per-views at $80, 75, $80. So it's the same thing. So yeah, 120 for that, you ain't really setting the world on fire. But they didn't really pay Crawford all that much. They gave Crawford $2 million. They gave David Avenesian $400,000. So they made out, you know. You mean on YouTube? On YouTube, I go live. I go live like this every I go live like this on YouTube every night around 10 o'clock most time. But tonight, I kind of, somebody asked me, they've been getting some holiday. Can you go a little bit, maybe like catch a little bit early, whatever else. And it was a night that I was like, I got a little bit of time. Hadn't been on in a couple of days, and I was ready to roll on in here, man. So I figured I'd roll on in here, and that's what I did tonight. But normally I come on around 10-ish, sometime around that. So I'm going to have my time around this time every night, 9, 10-ish. You know what I'm saying? Get in, get out. Yeah. Because normally when we finish, it'd be like around 12 and stuff. So we got some people that don't get to catch it. So, around 12, it start tapering off with some of the main people. So, coming on just a hair early sometime, just trying a little different stuff. You know what I mean? See, let's get some people involved. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, man, that whole thing, man, I can't say that it tanked. Blue Talks like Tank made out like a bandit, but Speedy, Ennis, and Andre was on that card. Lots of people to pay. I don't know, man. I don't know. Blue might know something that I don't know. You know what I mean? All I know is they haven't released all that yet. Oh, what's up, Will Peoples? Thank you, man. Appreciate it, fam. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. It's just, you know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't put it out there. I haven't put it out there. Oh, said Chris Cyborg kind of put those out there. Oh, okay. That's a press release reporting 120K is a site you pay $60 to post whatever. Chris Cyborg paid them to say those numbers. Oh, okay. Could be true. Could be true, man. I don't know. Like I said, for them to turn right around, I would say the card was decent up there. The thing was packed. So I would say the word got out on that Tank fight where you would think Tank did pretty good numbers. I would think. But like I said, I don't know. I haven't seen him. Just like, I just don't. I don't know. But it seems to me. But they're going to turn right around and put them guys right back on pay-per-view again. Said chicken talk. He said, right. He said, I'm saying at best, and that's not good. Yep. And that's at best. So if you didn't, yeah. Tank got to eat. To be honest, Tank didn't need all them dudes on there, but PBC packed that whole damn card full of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Tank gonna definitely take his portion of it. Listen, Tank is a big name in boxing, man, whether anybody like it or not. Tank brings people, Tank put butts in seats, period. Floyd Mayweather helped set that up, and Tank has done his job by keep knocking people out. So he kept putting the hurting on people. What you got? Tank is a mini Mike Tyson. He's a Mike Tyson mini-me. So he's going to pack it out. Said the Crawford fight didn't even trend. Nah. Crawford's topic was him and Spence. That's what kept it in there. If Crawford wasn't tied into Spence, it wouldn't even been that. That's what I'm saying. The next fight that Crawford does ain't going to be the same. You know what I mean? Because he ain't going to have Spence. You know what I mean? Because he ain't going to be able to pull that same crap twice. They're not going to let that happen. So whatever he does next time is going to do even worse. Unless it's Jaron Ennis. If he goes fights Jaron Ennis, it'll do okay. It ain't going to be do as good as Spence, though. But he'll do okay. Maybe he might try Ugas. Ugas might do okay, but Ugas need a fight in between. Ugas got to prove that his eye is back. You know what I mean? Which it should be back right about now. He's done had a real good layoff. It's going on a year. So Ugas should be okay. So I like to see Ugas get a fight to prove everybody he's back, then fight Crawford or fight somebody else with a bigger name. But Ugas needs that one fight to show how well he does with getting hit. Has one legit payday left, Spence? Yeah. Especially if he loses. But if he wins, he'll have Spence again, and then or go up there to I don't think he really wants Jamel, but if he does go up there and fight Jamel, he'll have an extra one. I don't know what Andre's and Ennis percentages are. I don't know. Andre probably didn't make a whole hell of a lot. What do you mean? Did he use Garcia to build up his fight, like Hector Garcia to build up his fight with Ryan Garcia? He could possibly have done that. I don't even know why he chose that. But you know what? It was talks that Ryan was supposed to have a fight and Gervonta was going to take a fight. So I don't know if both of them had that already in motion and Ryan just backed out of his fight, if that's how it happened. But I don't know, because you remember a long time ago when Tank and Ryan were supposed to fight a long time ago, Tank wasn't trying to get a tune-up fight. Tank was trying to go straight in there, and then Ryan said that he's supposed to be fighting Pacquiao. You know what I mean? Hold on. Mike Coppinger just said something. I'll tell you what he just said. He just said, no signed contract, but all appears on track now that the contract has been sent over to PBC. Contract looks good, I'm told, but it will be reviewed and should be signed next week. And that's Davis and Garcia. So basically, Mike Coppinger heard the same shit we heard. And now he going to put something on there talking about what he done heard and shit. And he don't know shit. Mike Coppinger just did what I just said that everybody does. He goes and hears some half-ass shit and run out and tell it. That's the same thing everybody's been talking about. So what's next? Water is wet? He just said the contract is over there. It looks good. And by next week, that's a guess. That's a damn guess. But will be reviewed and should be signed next week. He just throwing that shit out there. Is Ryan Tank still on? Yeah, they saying it's on. Yeah. And De La Hoya said he was waiting. That's what ATL Unanimous called in earlier and said that he saw the interview where and I didn't get to see it for myself, but that's what he said. He saw Oscar saying that they got the contract and that he's waiting on Ryan. Ryan's supposed to be doing something. So that's where it's supposed to be at. And that came out of Oscar's mouth. So all this other stuff that they wasn't trying to, all this other stuff. I actually thought Oscar was trying to back out. That's what I thought personally. I said Oscar's trying to get the hell out of there. But I'm wrong. So I got to admit that if they go ahead and sign it and make that fight. Yeah. T-Work said, this Just In Showboating Sports is live on YouTube. Yeah, you heard it here first. Yeah. Hey, ain't that how they do, man? Everybody want to rush out and say breaking news, and them dudes rush out every time. Mike Coppinger, yeah. For Shirley Sean said, water is wet, big dog. Yeah. Yeah, they run out telling us the damn obvious, Captain Obvious and shit. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. They all keep doing that, man. This just in. Yeah, come on, man. None of us really know the shit because they ain't telling nobody. And it's because of people like Mike Coppinger is why everything is so dead and so close, because those guys keep running with that shit, and making a living off it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. And they want to talk bad about YouTubers and shit, but that's what Mike Coppinger does. That's what they all do. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how them cats do, man. Well, hopefully, man, in the next couple of days, we'll see what's going on, man. Yeah, gold is metal. Yeah. Breaking news. Gold is now considered metal. You're like, dude, it's been considered that shit. Yeah. Yeah, Mike Coppinger is just crazy, man. Yeah, they all doing that shit, man. That's why I was like, man, I'm just gonna wait till I get something a little bit more concrete. Sometimes I like running with stories because I don't give a shit. I'm bored. You know what I mean? But the real truth is certain stories, I'm like, I'm gonna wait on that one, bro. Yeah. What belts can be worn on your waist or shoulders? Yeah, exactly. That's how this shit goes down, man. But hopefully, man, like I said, we'll be out hearing something soon, man. I can't wait to hear it, man. And man, that's all for me tonight, guys. Appreciate everybody coming up here, man. Hit the thumbs up button or hit the thumbs down, whichever you guys prefer. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you know when we're doing this. We do it every week. We say what we say it, but guess what? We stand on that shit. That's straight up no chaser. So until tomorrow night, guys, I'm out. Y'all have a good one, man. Y'all have a good night, fight fam, and I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow, man. Said Ryan and Tank have experienced promoters. Big difference from Bud versus EJ. Yep, sure do, man. Hey, y'all have a good one, man. And like I said, man, catch up with y'all tomorrow night. If y'all new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share, man. All right, have a good one, guys. Peace.